So who was your first customer?
Our first customer was a company called LiveRamp,
Okay.
and still a customer today. So like 3-4 years later, I still remember pitching them, and then they're like, "Yeah, we'll sign up." I was like, "Whoo, perfect!" And then it's like it just felt like that we already had something. Getting your first customer is so huge as an entrepreneur, or your first paying customer. That is, I think. Yeah, that was I think back in 2017.
I think that's always the most memorable experience. I always like going back and living vicariously through someone like that, just because it's going back to the energy or excitement where you're just at that point where you said, wow, did we just create something?
Yeah.
And to be really excited about, okay, now you have that momentum and you just keep moving forward.
Yeah, and I think it's all about, the momentum piece. It's like in the early days, we really thought about momentum as a culture, like a company culture and competitive advantage, where we like to celebrate all the time. And so we'd celebrate, okay, let's get our 10th customer and we'll celebrate. Let's, get to this milestone and we'll celebrate. Because in the early days, you're kind of up against, all odds. Is this really going to work or not? And so you've got to kind of smile and give yourself momentum. Otherwise, there's lots of like, this is broken. Oh, what? We forgot to do this. Or, oh, now I have to do this. So it's the early days are fun, but challenging.
I'm sure it can be scary too, starting something and you don't know what's going to happen with it, quitting your job and putting that out there, putting everything on the line.
Oh, I know. My wife at the time I was lucky enough to get her blessing, and she was working. And so it was one of those scenarios where I was like, I got some good savings, and, honey, I want to do this, and this is going to work, I think. And, can I do this? And she's like, let's do it. So I give her equal, success. If she's not, on these podcasts or reaping the benefits publicly, but behind the scenes, I give her lots of high fives for, her, confidence in me and her ability to kind of almost be an entrepreneurial wife, so to speak, and take on the risks too.
Yeah, I think that support structure, the people you surround yourselves with, is incredibly important. Glad that you can give her some credit too. Hopefully we'll send her a copy of this so she can at least see the props. But you're right, it's that momentum of the excitement. And when you surround yourself with the right people and that excitement too, then it just becomes like lightning in a bottle where you just breathe off that energy.
Exactly.
We consider ourselves a 22-year-old startup. We have a bell, and anytime anything happens, that's great. Every little aspect of the way. Sales, marketing, customer success, we are ringing that bell just to keep our momentum going, keep everyone excited about it. Because I think anyone knows on a daily basis, things don't go perfectly. We have like a no whammy, press your luck, where we want to have no whammies. And I think that because of that, when nothing goes perfectly all the time, if you're surrounded by those people who are really great people, as a team, you're going to be able to really get behind each other and support each other through the tough times. So, but it's something where from a celebration standpoint, it's always nice to celebrate the wins, but the first customer out of the gate has to be the most exciting out of all of it.
Exactly.
So Kris, is there one customer you really wanted to land where you just said, this is the one brand that I really want to have as one of my customers?
For sure. I mean, for me, it was a company called Nutanix. And this was, again, probably like 2.5 years ago, but it was at the time like 5x bigger than our other deals. And so, and the number of users was like 10x our other biggest deal. And so that was one that was just like super close to my heart, and that I was like, we got to get this. This just means we're big time. It's like, and so put a lot of effort into that deal to get it across the finish line. And I remember being at a conference in Utah and seeing like the DocuSign come in, and me and my co-founder were both there at the conference, and it was just like one of those days where another almost like milestone where we're like, we did it. We can get companies like this size. And, we went through like their big security review, and, they're a public company and this and that. So it was quite the milestone, and it's been great seeing them, and it will expand since then too. So again, another customer that's been with us for years and years, and is, way bigger now. And the revenue size, it's kind of one of our, maybe more of our medium or smaller deals now. So it's kind of funny to see over the years as the product matures, the category matures, and the pricing matures. But what was a big deal back then, is now kind of would be considered kind of a medium-sized or smaller deal now.
I mean, even looking across your history, it has to be exciting to see what you're doing and the direct impact and growth of those companies, even going back to Guy Fieri.
Yeah.
And now these companies, you can see that you're making a direct impact. I know it's more than just prospecting and selling, but also for employees and anything else you use Sendoso for. Really exciting to see you're also helping those companies and feel almost directly impacted by their growth as well.
Yeah, it is. That has been one of the most rewarding things. And I probably get a couple messages a week on LinkedIn from like a random SDR or a salesperson or a CSM who's like, thank you for creating Sendoso. Like, I love it. It's my favorite tool. Or like, I just booked a meeting that like was cold for 6 months. And like some of those things, I'm just like, yes, I like screenshot it, put it in like a little folder on my desktop. And it's just like, those are like the good little, memories to think back on, that like I'm making other people's lives better, or at least I'm helping them, feed their families and make money and like do their job better and make people smile. And so at the end of the day, that's really what it's all about.